Hello guys, today I'm going to show you the easiest way to get charcoal. You just cut the wood, throw it in the furnace, and the charcoal comes out quickly. You can also go digging. Charcoal comes straight from the stone. Hold on. A super chat just came in. This one's from Malice and Alsa. He wants to know how to get activated charcoal. Stop. There isn't any in Minecraft, but there is in real life. Today we're going to see what this so-called activated charcoal is, and more. We're going to try to remove the color from soda using this little thing. To start off, let's understand the differences between the types of charcoal. I have 3 different kinds here. The first one is the most obvious, the one we use for barbecuing. This is regular charcoal. It's called that because it comes from wood, usually eucalyptus, that is cut and then roasted in a furnace. It might sound strange to say it's roasted, but basically what happens is the wood is heated so much that everything that isn't carbon is burned away. The water evaporates, and a series of other substances are released. In the end, we're left with a piece of carbon, the chemical element itself. As a result, it burns really well and produces very little smoke. It's a very efficient fuel. That's why we use it for barbecuing. So for those who play Minecraft, to make this kind of charcoal, you need to burn wood in the furnace. This neighbor here is coal. It's mined from underground and was formed millions and millions of years ago. In very simple terms, we can say it's solid petroleum. It was formed from microorganisms or living beings that died long ago. They were compressed and cooked over millions of years. In the end, we get something that's also good for burning, but in a more industrial setting. Coal is still widely used in power plants. It's burned to generate heat, which heats water, powers turbines, and produces electricity. Although it's not widely used in Brazil, some European countries still rely heavily on coal for electricity. You could burn a small piece to observe the result. But Ibere, you already burned coal in that video where you made the perfect coal ball. Just because we had fun once doesn't mean we can't do it again. Let's take a little piece off here. Just look at this. It's much more compact than charcoal. It's hard. It really looks like a rock. It doesn't smell like anything. Mr. Jansen, behind the camera, asked if it comes out of the mine black and in this shape. It comes out like this, already dry and all. It wasn't cooked or anything. But this cylindrical shape is because it was extracted with a drill that has this shape. In fact, it can come out looking like a regular rock. You're going, a rock? Can I say it's a rock? It's a mineral, kind of like a rock, and depending on the tool you use, you can shape it differently. Wow! This smells like kerosene mixed with gasoline, mixed with diesel, mixed with plastic. That's exactly what it is in this case, right? And finally, our activated charcoal. Despite the fancy name, activated charcoal isn't radioactive at all, even if it sounds like it. Activated charcoal is made from vegetable charcoal, but it goes through a process to create more pores, increasing its surface area. That's because we use this little guy here as a type of filter. It's very good at capturing molecules that are floating around, whether in a liquid or a gas, for example. If your fridge smells bad, check the activated charcoal filter. When air passes through it, the activated charcoal captures the molecules that cause bad smells. Activated charcoal traps substances on its surface. It's commonly used in water filters, so it can trap small impurities in the water, whether chemical or organic, on its surface. This water filter, the one that goes behind the fridge, probably contains activated charcoal. Let's open it and check. Oh wow, pure activated charcoal. It's kind of strange to think that the water we drink goes through charcoal, right? Because charcoal reminds us of something dirty. We get all black when we handle it. When you use this filter for the first time, some dark water comes out carrying the charcoal dust, but after that initial flush it stops. There's also something at the bottom. Want to see? There's another filter. Look, a kind of paper or felt that prevents the charcoal from passing through. It catches the charcoal particles. But what's the secret behind this stuff? How is it different from other charcoal? If we could cut it and look closely at a piece of activated charcoal, we would see lots of pores, tiny caves and holes where molecules get trapped. So the surface of activated charcoal attracts these odor molecules or water impurities and traps them. Just so you know, the name of this process is adsorption, with a D as in dice. It means something sticks to the surface of something else. It's different from absorption. If you use a paper towel to clean up ketchup, for example, the ketchup doesn't just stay on the surface, it soaks through the paper towel. That's absorption, not adsorption. There are so many pores, so many little holes. The surface is incredibly irregular. If you take a gram of activated charcoal, about this much, and stretch out all the surface area, you'd get around 3,000 square meters. That's roughly a third of a football field, but why is that impressive? Why does it matter? Because with more surface area, there are more places for things to stick to. But if it comes from charcoal, what's the difference between the two? Charcoal also has pores, things can stick to it too, and it can also be used as a filter. But it's less efficient. It doesn't have as many places for things to adhere to as activated charcoal does. To make activated charcoal, you first create regular charcoal, which then goes through a treatment, an activation process. This can involve a chemical reaction, for example, to create more pores and make it more efficient. That's why this type of charcoal is different and filters better. But I think I've talked enough. It's time for some experiments. Let's try to observe this small material under a microscope and see if we can view its pores. Yeah, you can see that it's very rough, it looks like sandpaper, but you can't see the tiny pores themselves, where the molecules would stick. I can't get it properly in focus because the surface is so uneven. When I focus on one spot, others go out of focus. In the small piece that was inside the filter, we can see it better. The surface is really rough. It's full of little spaces where stuff could get trapped. That's very cool. Does this product actually eliminate odors? Meat is one of the main causes of a smelly fridge. So what did we do? We bought some meat and we're gonna put it in 3 different boxes. In the first box, I won't do anything at all. That will be our control box. It will have the natural smell of meat. In the second box, I'll add some regular charcoal. And in the third box, I'll add the same amount of activated charcoal. After a while, will the box with activated charcoal smell less than the others? Can regular charcoal remove some of the smell too? I need to circulate the air inside the box, not from the outside. The air needs to keep flowing internally, passing through the charcoal. I'm installing these fans here. Now let's move on to the smelly part. 3 pieces of meat, 3 steaks, 1 in each box. In the first box, I'll put 15 grams of regular charcoal. I'm going to grind it up first to increase the contact area, turn it into more of a powder, because large pieces won't make much of a difference. I'll put 0.529 ounces of activated charcoal in the second box, and only the steak in the third. And then, will this change anything in an hour? Let's find out. This tape on the corner is because the lids were lifting. It doesn't need to be fully sealed, but the lid can't just pop off either, right? Here we go, turning on the fans in 3, 2, 1. I was afraid the charcoal would fall onto the steak, but it didn't. Anyway, let's continue. While the meat is either losing its smell or not, let's try removing the color from the soda. After all, that's probably why you clicked on this video. Just like with the meat smell or water impurities, the dye in soda can also be absorbed by activated charcoal. I just don't know if it's efficient enough. If we can turn an orange soda into something the color of lemon soda, but that's the idea. Let's try it. I'm going to try building a giant filter. The idea is similar to a fridge filter, just longer and more powerful. And for that, I'll grind some of the activated charcoal I have, because I noticed that the charcoal inside the filter was much finer. The pieces were smaller than the ones I bought. The advantage of smaller particles is that the surface area becomes much larger, which means greater efficiency. But Iberate, why aren't you using a blender instead of grinding it by hand? Because Mrs. Mari Fulfaro stole Manuel Dumundo's blender to grind coffee at home, and now we don't have a blender here. Simple as that. Yeah, it's much more spread out than the original. Here's the original, and here's the ground one. And what I've ground here is not even 10% of all the charcoal. Okay, I just found out that Mari returned the blender. I can't find the lid, but this blender is powerful. We're gonna grind all of this now. 2 kilograms of activated charcoal. This soda is going to turn transparent one way or another. Let's get that lid. Ready? Putting in 2 kilograms of the stuff probably isn't a great idea, right? Turns out each container held 500 grams. Actually, it's just 1 kilogram, but even so, that's a lot. it's a good idea to cover the blade a bit more. Oh man. Now it's grinding well. Yeah, if you're going to use a blender at home, make sure to put the lid on and don't keep peeking inside all the time. Every now and then you should check what's happening, but stirring with a spoon is dangerous. It's dangerous, but anyway, try not to make the mess I made here at Manual do Mundo, because it's a pain to clean up. You can't even see what the floor looks like. We ended up with 1.69 quarts of activated charcoal, or 1,600 cubic centimeters. With that, I can calculate. This hose has a diameter of 4 centimeters. How much space will it take up? I want to pour all the charcoal into this hose so that the soda passes through the filter we're going to build. Each centimeter of hose holds 13 milliliters of charcoal. 1,600 divided by 13 equals about 4 feet and 0.43 inches. If I cut it at 4 feet 11 inches... Oh, but Ibarray, you're measuring everything roughly. That's because I'm leaving a margin of error, right? Here at the end, to prevent the charcoal from leaking while still letting the liquid through, I'll place a veil, a piece of tool, here. Then I'll add the little piece that was in the filter before, this felt filter. That's enough for now, but we do need to wash it to remove excess charcoal dust. We're going to improvise a funnel here, because it won't be easy to get all this charcoal into the hose. Ah, how lovely. My calculation was spot on. I estimated 1¼ meters, cut 1½ and had 25 centimeters left over. I sealed the end to compact the charcoal so it would go down as far as possible and stay tight. Let's rinse it. The goal is to remove the finer charcoal, but right away I noticed the liquid isn't flowing well. The water stopped here. It doesn't want to go down. It's clogged. Probably in a fridge filter or a water cooler, there's water pressure pushing it through. Here, we have no pressure at all. I'm going to try adding a little compressed air. We need a cork or something similar here on top. Covering it with your hand isn't enough. We need a proper cork. While we figure out a solution for that, I want to test the smell. It's been an hour and we need to see if the activated charcoal really made a difference. Smell is a sensation that can't be measured numerically. And if I know which box I'm opening, I'll probably be biased and think the one with charcoal smells less. So I'm gonna put on this blindfold so I can't see anything. Jansen, can you shuffle the boxes for me? Look, I'm recording Jansen shuffling the boxes, but I have my eyes closed, so I don't know what I'm recording. Jansen. The shuffling seems fine, but the recording isn't great. It doesn't smell like anything. I smelled coal, yes. I think this is the box with charcoal. I'm not supposed to guess. I'm just supposed to smell. But based on the scent, I think it's charcoal, because I smelled coal, but no meat at all. Let's check this one. It has a faint coal smell too, but no meat smell. I'm placing it on top. The one underneath is the one I smelled first. Now the only thing left is for the meat to not smell at all, because then I've been sniffing for no reason. This one doesn't smell either. Control is crucial in experiments because it shows the natural state, with no interference. It's our baseline for comparison. In other words, this meat has no smell. If I hadn't included a control, I would have smelled that first box, thought it was charcoal, and concluded it removed the smell. Actually, this experiment was useless. We should have tested it with something smellier. It didn't work, but I have to go now. I'm giving a lecture at the Brazilian Science Fair. And I'm only coming back on Friday. Today is Wednesday. What if we leave this meat airing out with the charcoal until Friday? 2 days. It should definitely smell like something by then, right? It's possible. I'm just gonna leave these longer cables here because we can't let anything reach the other box. This is embarrassing for Manual do Mundo, and it's going to be disgusting in 2 days. It's impossible that this thing won't smell. There must be some smell in here, and it won't be good. Jansen, shuffle the boxes again. That good camera that you already know. I don't even know which box is which anymore. There comes a moment when you ask yourself, why did I decide to do this? What am I doing right now? Let's go. There's hardly any smell. It has just a faint meat scent, way weaker than I imagined. Let's go. This one smells a little stronger, but still not too bad. This one has a strong smell. What now? Okay, the strong smell came from the meat without charcoal, and the ones with weaker smells were the ones with regular and activated charcoal. So it's proven, even with this crude setup, the charcoal removed the smell that was around. Now let's move on to the most important experiment, the filter. We 3D printed a cork that fits perfectly in the hose and on the compressor nozzle. So now the plan is to add water, seal it with the cork, inject some pressure, and see if the water flows, because it was barely dripping. Over the past few days of testing, a little bit of water went down, but I really want to see the filter working properly. Whoa, nope, the cork popped off. Pressure won't solve this. Let's get rid of the remaining water here. I used too much pressure. If I had sealed the cork better, I could have applied more, but then the cork would have burst or flown off. For this test, that amount of pressure was enough. So since we don't have enough pressure to push the water through, maybe time will do the job. I'm going to swap the tip. Instead of using a veil, I'll use a small bag made of a very fine mesh to hold the charcoal particles better. I'll use 2 of them. This will be a more advanced version. Let's load up our filter. Will the dye disappear? Now I know this will take several days, and that's fine. It's Friday afternoon, so it'll stay here over the weekend. I don't film on Monday, so we'll probably only see the result on Tuesday. I won't add too much soda, just up to this limit here. That's about 4 fingers of soda. I'm not sure it's enough to soak the whole filter. Maybe not, but if the level drops, we'll top it off. We'll be back Monday or Tuesday. I came back super happy after the weekend. Oh, transparent, but it tastes like nothing. Yeah, I think that was just leftover water from the initial rinse. I'll save this water just in case the filter is so good that it turned the soda into water, but I doubt it. Let's top it up and let it run a little longer. There's bad news, and only bad news in this case. We've been adding soda here over several days. It's been going down very slowly, maybe 3 fingers a day. The bottle is almost empty, and down here we have a clear liquid, but it's just the water we added at the beginning to clean the filter. The filter removes the soda's flavor, resulting in a tasteless, non-sweet drink. Since we've already tried using pressure to push it through, there comes a point where you have to admit it didn't work, right? Let's try something more radical. Open the filter, remove the charcoal, and put it in a pot. It's going to create this extra disgusting mess you're seeing here. The idea is that the activated charcoal will come into contact with all the soda. If it really removes the dye, it will remove it now. It's crazy, right? It stains my hand like this, but the water that came out of the filter was practically clean, no charcoal at all. Let's let it sit for a day. I'll be back tomorrow. So, will we be able to get the charcoal out of the water? Well, first I want to do another experiment. Let's see if a paper filter alone can remove the orange soda's color. So, let's strain a little bit through it like coffee and see what comes out the other side. I won't lie to you, some dye sticks to the filter, but the soda still looks just as orange as before. Let's try now with this. Yeah, no need to show the inside, this is just paint now. I'll put a plastic cover to protect our lovely table. The charcoal has already stained it, truth time. It's coming out much lighter than the original soda, but it's still a little orange. I wonder if it affected the smell too. It smells like nothing. It's bizarre. We've turned soda into an odorless fuel. What a weird thing. Let's try a double filtration here to remove any remaining charcoal before we actually try tasting it. I see a light at the end of the tunnel, you know? It's not completely transparent, but the color is very different from the original soda. It turned very clear. It's translucent with a tint of color. Look at the difference. The original soda is opaque. You can't see through it at all. This one looks like Guaraná, and that one looks like orange soda. Correction, this one isn't opaque. It lets light through, so it's translucent. The light passes through, but you can't see the image on the other side. The one that went through the activated charcoal is already transparent. You can actually see through it. The question is, does it taste any different? The hard part is trusting all the jars this thing went through, right? Did we clean everything properly? It tastes like water with sugar and ginger. It's very different from the original soda, which really tastes like orange. It's more acidic, more citrusy. This is basically a non-alcoholic Quentin. We didn't fully succeed in the experiment. I wanted it to be completely transparent, but let's agree, activated charcoal made a huge difference. Hold on, it's not over yet. I'm still going to try to make it completely clear. I saw a video from Vlad from Secret Area where he shows that some papers can bind with the dye. Or rather, the dye binds to the paper and you can use that to remove it from the soda. Can we make it even clearer than this? There's a little soda left and I'm gonna top it off with what I filtered using the napkin. Let's begin the disgusting part. It came out orange, the dye stayed, and the liquid passed through. If I repeat this enough times, the paper will turn orange. I was wrapping up this video feeling a bit defeated, like we hadn't really succeeded. But just from these 29 napkins I dipped into the soda, you can already tell something changed. It starts off super orange, and the orange gradually fades away. As you can probably guess, I want to run it through a coffee filter again, because there are still some particles, and I think we're really getting somewhere. Now yes, this is the original soda. This is the total failure in activated charcoal, and this one here is the one filtered with napkins. I hope you gave it a thumbs up, but I know you won't be satisfied unless I taste it and tell you what it's like. Let's go. It's almost identical to the original. It's not fizzy, but it tastes the same. It's colorless orange soda, and at least this one you can try at home. It's not tasty, but it's fun. Want to uncover another soda secret? Once we placed an orange soda can in acid, and something really strange was left behind. It looked like there was a bag inside the can. Check it out.